Hey guys, you is back. I do hope you all are doing well. So in today's video, I'm going to talk about a question that you may have once asked yourself, or you may ask yourself from time to time. Why are my locks thinning? Well, in short, do you have hair that grows away from your locks? Let's get to it. I'm gonna love you. So, this concept of hair growing away from the locks, it doesn't sound too menacing, does it? But in fact, in reality, it is something that can do tremendous damage to your locks. It can thin out your locks like nobody's business. I was first introduced to this concept of hair growing away from your locks by Yanni, the lockologist. She had the good sense to know that a lot of people are unaware of this condition. And yes, I'm calling it a condition because it is serious. And so I was so happy when she first introduced it in one of her videos. What I did after that with that knowledge is I started to inspect my locks. I started to pay attention to how my new growth grows out. And I noticed that my hair isn't growing into my locks, and that's problematic. So at that point, I tried to figure out ways to get that new growth insinuated back into the lock so that it would stop thinning out. And in today's video, I'm going to show you an example of how ignorance is not bliss, okay? You need to figure out whether or not your hair grows away from your locks or if it grows into the lock. If your hair, your new growth grows into your lock, no problem. If your hair grows away from your locks, then hey, you're gonna have to do a little bit more work on this lock journey. Now, for those of you who may not know what hair growing away from your lock really is, all it is that as the new growth grows out, it doesn't merge into the lock with the rest of your hair. Evidence of this, or a symptom of the fact that you have hair that grows away from your locks, is that the hairs at the base of your locks start to mesh in with nearby locks by surrounding locks. Also, your parts will disappear quickly if you maintain your locks, right? If you keep them separated. And last but not least, which is the most horrible symptom of hair that grows away from your locks, if you don't know about it, is that your locks will thin out. So let's take a closer look at mine, and I can show you when I was ignorant, when I didn't know that my hair grew away from my locks and therefore was not doing anything. And then once I got that knowledge and started to do something about it, the difference that it made in my locks. So if we look at this one has been through a lot. It's been combined several times, braided down here, twisted up here. And then I finally kind of got it on track. But then, for those of you who have been watching my videos for a while, you know that I started to braid the new growth into the locks, right? That's good because it keeps the hair in the lock for a long period of time. Look how thick. This is when I started braiding the hair, the new growth into the lock. Look how thick that is compared to the rest of the lock. I achieved this thickness through combining with nearby locks and braiding, right? Braiding locks together. But this simply came about from braiding that new growth into the lock, and because it stayed there, it achieved its thickness, the thickness that it was supposed to achieve all along. And now, all that hair is into the lock. Another example. Here, we look at this one. For that first year, I was retwisting once a month. So at that point, I didn't know that my hair grew away from my locks, but because I was retwisting once a month, that was frequent enough for me to gather the hair and keep it a consistent length. Then I went on that no retwist for 2 months, no retwist for 3 months, and it thinned out a bit, at which point I used some of my beard hair to kind of reinforce it, but it's still a little bit thinner. And then, not too long ago, I discovered the braid technique, and I braided that new growth into the lock, and you see it's nice and thick now, okay? And it's all attached to the lock because I just did a retwist and I braided the new growth for the past 4 months. Let's look at this lock over here. This one really is telling. So once again, just like the other side, my side locks, those two on the side, those have been my most problematic locks. Had to combine a few times, and you know, I would try to put the hair back into the lock. I tried various methods, but that new growth always ended up kind of slipping back out. So it kind of stayed thin. You know, it's a little bit thicker here, That was a good few months, right? I was successful. Then it thinned back out, then it got thick again. And then it got thin again. And this right here is when I decided to start braiding the new growth into the lock. And because I braided the new growth into the lock, it stayed there. And now it is the thickness that it was always meant to be. Because if you look at my scalp, if you go to my scalp, there's a lot of hair there, right? So it should be thick. But when your hair is not growing into the lock and you're missing those windows of opportunity, the hair never gets displaced along the lock the way it should. But because I braided the hair into the lock, that new growth, it stayed there, and this is the result. So as you can see, it is very important to analyze your hair, your locks, and see whether or not you have hair that grows away from your locks. As I said before, if your hair grows into your locks, then no problem, you don't even have to worry about this. But if your hair does grow away from your locks, you're going to have to do something to get that hair reinsinuated back into your lock. Now what you do depends on your hair texture. I have super coily kinky hair, so the braid technique, braiding the new growth around the lock, works best for me. For someone with wavy or straight hair, maybe the crochet hook method would work better for them. You'll have to figure that out for yourself. I can't do everything for you people. I'm just kidding. But no, you have to use the right technique based on your hair type, okay? And how your hair behaves. So I know I'm always talking about hair grows away from your locks, hair grows into the lock, but I feel like the lock community is like really ignorant when it comes to this concept. I know I was before I heard about it from Yanni, so I'm going to continue to push it in my videos to spread that awareness. I feel like when people talk about thinning locks, the only thing they think about is, oh, too much manipulation, retwisting too tightly too often, but your locks can thin out for other reasons, and hair growing away from your locks is another great reason. And I think many people, many lockheads suffer from this phenomenon, this condition. So if you have hair that grows away from your locks, drop down below in the comment section and let me know any maintenance tips that you utilize to combat that. If you like this video, please like it. And don't forget to subscribe if you are interested in seeing more content from your boy, your boy, from me, right? Hit the bell so that you are updated, and that's it, I guess. As always, please learn to love unconditionally, because loving with conditions are hard to not really love at all. Sabotage is out.